microphone, so you might actually be able to hear my stupid voice. But I didn't know it set up properly the first time, so I've waffled for 12 minutes and you can't hear it. So I'm going to have an attempt at remembering whatever bollocks I was talking about a minute ago and try again. Anyway, it's been a little while, so I thought I'd just repeat a load of crap I said before. Not really, just a little bit. Because I'm going to bang on about Grumpy Greta and so-called climate change again. As has been previously mentioned, I kind of want to have a little plug for some articles on a site called Wrong Kind of Green, and a journalist called Corey Morningstar, who it would appear has worked our arse off on a whole number of articles that were initially, and still are to a large point, to do with Greta Thunberg and the manipulations thereof. The first set of articles. Well, first of all, let's just say that they are worth reading, and they're, yes, everything is you look at is third-party information, but they are so thorough that there is at least the opportunity to check her sources and to fact check, not fact check. You can do a fact check if you want. And I have not every single thing, but I have cherry picked across, and I've gone and you can look at the names mentioned, groups mentioned, so on, and you can find your own truths out from that. So anyway, the first set of articles were, from my understanding, an in-depth look at the complexes, as in the NGO complexes, the philanthropist, the right word? Buddha Melinda and all this lot. All these guys over there, washers of cash, the charities, the World Economic Forum, World Bank, all the usual little suspects that pop up, where Greta also started to pop up, and how they have been working so hard in the background for the last number of years to work on the backbone, I guess, of ideas that can lead to climate marches, Extinction Rebellion, and the whole manipulating the perception of billions of people. Because that's what this whole thing comes down to. It comes down to manipulating billions of people to give their consent to allow governments to introduce on these businesses and NGOs' behalf sweeping powers along the lines of the Green New Deal that will, for a start, allow exploitation of the planet to continue, and allow more and more kind of clamp down on what we as people can and cannot do. And the next set of articles don't shy away from that at any point. They have continued to explore the whole kind of background of the climate marches, and looking into all the many different groups involved, like Amnesty and Avaz, the UN, World Wildlife Fund, and all the usual foundations, the Rockefeller Brothers, the Rockefeller Foundation, um, and the whole kind of idea of the fact that we don't have to change anything so long as long as we plant trees, which is what a lot of it seems to have come down to. There's a nice little quote by crazy Cameron Diaz, who was apparently a climate optimist, so, hell yeah to her. Her quote isn't about cutting everything out, it's about creating something better. We can figure out how to maintain our lifestyles and the health of the planet if we do it right. So, this whole thing is about these corporations and their reliance on this capitalist ideal for creating money, and the only way they can create money is if they keep creating. The only way they can keep creating is if they keep exploiting, because that's how they've done it so far. The only way that the banks can keep making money is if the planet keeps getting exploited and the people get exploited. And there's no plan for that to stop. And climate change is being used as a means of, and Extinction Rebellion and so on, are being used as a means of mind control on a massive, massive scale, so that legislation can be introduced that, so that consent from the people is given, so that then government can provide legislature so to allow these companies to continue their exploitation of the planet. And all this stuff to do with it isn't about cutting anything out. We can figure out how to maintain our lifestyles. That's just a Northern Hemisphere, Western world kind of thing, where we can keep on with our clothes and our laptops and our phones and keep getting the latest updates and so on and so on. Because we can close our eyes then and put our hands over our faces, and we can pretend that everything's okay because it's all carbon neutral and they're carbon capturing and they're planting trees, and we can ignore the fact that actually generally southern hemisphere wise, these companies have moved in totally and have decimated the whole place in order to protect their interests and make money for themselves, so that we can continue in our little so-called comfort zones. And that's a lot of what Corey Morningstar's been right about. This whole thing where, we plant trees and we'll be okay. So long as billions of trees are planted, that's all we need to do. And there's actually quotes along that line, and you think, you guys are just nuts. So obviously, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with planting trees. I'm happy to plant trees, but you can't plant trees and then say you continue to exploit a planet just because you planted a tree somewhere. It doesn't mean that you can then go and destroy a country somewhere else because you're planting trees. It just doesn't work like that. Deep breath. But that's the whole kind of what we've been told is okay, because this whole offset thing is just barking. It's okay to do that because we've done that. Why is it? Well, of course it's okay, because it means that there's money to be made. But this whole sucking the carbon out of the atmosphere thing as well, that makes it okay? It doesn't, does it? Because the things which are being, the things that are happening, that are creating carbon or whatever it might be in the first place, are damaging the planet. The technology and the machines and whatever that are used to dig up the planet will chop down whatever, or destroy this, or blow up that, or make this, or make that. They're creating whatever form of carbon is getting banged on about and captured. You know, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't. You don't neutralise it. And we've been told that it does, and it's just totally wrong. And all this whole guilt thing of that Greta is all part of this whole, you know, making getting children to turn on the adult generation at the minute and making everybody feel guilty and pointing the finger. The fingers are getting pointed in the wrong direction, I think. Um, because again, like some of these articles say, it's the usual tiny percent of the people in the world who are causing most of the pollution, so-called, on the planet in the first place. So yeah, I just wanted to say, have a look at those articles because I think this whole manipulation and goes hand in hand with the kind of upcoming 5G malarkey and the Internet of Things. You know, like I said before, your fridge talking to your sweet corn or whatever, and your dirty nappy telling you that your baby's crapped in it and all the rest of it. It's just it, it it's still linked in with climate, so-called technology and carbon credits and blah blah blah. Um, and they're just two subjects which it's so difficult to have a talk to anybody else about, you know, because the 5G thing, it's okay, you know, because it makes me phone quicker, it makes my download speeds quicker, and the whole climate thing. Well, who doesn't want to protect the climate? You know, who doesn't want to protect the climate? Well, and so therefore, once you oppose anybody else, you automatically sound like you're an irrational, crazy person. But hey, I'm happy to be an irrational, crazy moose. It doesn't bother me. It's just the banging your head on the wall while being crazy and irrational that makes your head sore. But anyway, enough of me. Just enough of me. Yes. Just, yeah, like I said, the website is called wrongkindofgreen.org. There's a chuffing great big list of articles under the recent post bit, not just by Corey Morningstar, there's plenty of others as well. They're all well worth having a look. Loads of information on there.